go live. Go live. It is 8:30, Saturday, the 17th of December, and we're in the middle of the 10-minute portrait challenge. It's been a really wonderful month. My setup is a bit different today, so we'll see how that goes. I have my Zoom room opening as I speak, and if you would like to hang out and actually talk together, you're welcome to join my Zoom room. And so I have Zoom on, and I have YouTube here, and it's so nice to have you here. Hello, Shannon. Let me know in the chat where you're joining from. 9 likes already. That's super nice. Thank you so much for being here and for liking. So I've been doing this. Let me know from the chat if you've been doing some of the 10-minute portrait challenge portraits. It's been super fun. I've been doing these short live streams every day. This one's going to be longer, and it's going to be a series of 10-minute portraits. Hi, Barbara. And this is open for everyone to join in with. If you're interested in learning from me and supporting my work, you can sign up to my Patreon. The link is in the description. And I do monthly tutorials and take requests. And all these people in the chat, hello. Fabian, Miss Lupix, Gabriella, Christina, Roseanne, Sabina, Greece. Hi, everyone. Hello, friends. So if you'd be interested in ongoing tutorials from me, where I actually really talk through my process. These live streams are just kind of hanging out and drawing together, which is awesome. But I do guided tutorials. Jane is here. We all have Jane to thank for our references today, and they're going to be so good. If anyone wants to get into the Zoom room, I'm letting people in now. The link is also in the description below. And I will just spotlight my workspace. So if you're in Zoom, hi Jane, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Very similar to what's on YouTube. You can stay on YouTube too, because it's good for my channel to have watch hours. So it's great to have you there. But in Zoom, we'll actually be able to talk to each other. But if you've got YouTube on as well, it'd be good if you could mute that, because you're going to hear everything I'm saying anyway. So I have my workspace set up here. It's different to my usual Tuesday sketch sessions, because I'm going to be showing my workspace. And I'll switch over to that now, over here on YouTube. So this is what it's going to look like. And once we get into the flow of things, we'll be able to chat, actually have conversation. And I'd love you to chat in the YouTube chat as well. And it's going to be super fun sketching together. So yeah, I was saying, if you'd like monthly tutorials, you can sign up to my Patreon. Or if you're enjoying the challenge, like this live stream, you can also check out my Buy Me a Coffee link, which is also in the description. And I drink coffee, and it's a nice way to drink coffee on your behalf. I drink coffee for you. So that's if you're interested. If you don't have the money, then you're also as welcome. Everyone is welcome to be here. It's just really nice doing this together. I love it. And yeah, super happy to have you here. So if there are any questions, feel free to ask. Zoom is open. Jane, could I make you a co-host and you let people in? Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. Jane is... wait a minute, what am I doing? Jane has often been my co-host on our Tuesday sketch sessions. So basically all you have to do here is let people in. And there have been something, when I've done these YouTube live streams, that I've had like weird bots join, and they have this weird video feed. You can just kick them out. The same way you can let people in, you can kick them out. So if it's a bot and it's showing offensive stuff, you can just get rid of it. If I see it, I'll kick it out. Make co-host. Okay, cool. So I'm just setting everything up here. Have these incredible reference photos for us to work from. And there is a link in the description. You can go to the website of this exhibition. It's a traveling exhibition. And you can check out all of these. Hi Christy, welcome. I'm just going to mute you. If you're in Zoom, you can mute YouTube, because you'll be hearing what I'm saying here. Otherwise, there's a loop. It's wonderful having all all of you on YouTube and also in Zoom. And we are about to get to it. So it's going to be a bunch of 10-minute portraits. I'm sketching with water-soluble graphite, which I have Shelley to thank for, who's been participating in the 10-minute portrait challenge. Over on YouTube, I'm going to show you something. This is the original image, and these are so amazing. So this is from like an archive of 1920s mugshots taken by the Sydney police. And I'm not going to go into the stories of all of these people. You can look them up. Arnold, the Zoom link is in the description below. Great to have you here. Hi, Sokisa, Ikuden, Claudia, Uta, all these wonderful people. So these are photos of alleged criminals. So I'm not going to pass judgment on any of these people. They all arose from their, socioeconomic conditions and did whatever they did 100 years ago. But how amazing are these photos? I'm going to show you the large format photos. And then I'm going to zoom in, and we've got the crop that we're going to sketch from, and we're just going to get straight into it. And I'm going to keep a pretty tight tempo so that we can get through these. And there are a lot of great portraits. And I will also set the timer. And Jane, if you have an eye on it, you can also you can see people's microphones moving, and you can mute if things are doing strange sound things. Timer. All right, I'm going to set. These are all going to be 10-minute portraits. So I'm setting this. I can hopefully do this. So I have the timer on and my reference up on my iPad. And you can see the reference in Zoom, and we are going to start drawing now. So first 10-minute portrait. I'd love to know in the chat what materials you are working with. Claire, my sister's in the chat. That's exciting. So yeah, I'm using water-soluble graphite. You are all using, I'd love to know. Okay, people in Zoom are welcome to speak. And it's great having you here, so nice. So this like the Zoom room is like hanging out, sketching together. And if you have things to say, then feel free to just ask, because it's really lovely chatting. And I will respond to Zoom and to YouTube, and it may look like I'm talking to myself. But anyone who wants to get in on the conversation can follow the Zoom link in the description. And it's kind of like sitting around a table sketching together. With the Zoom room open, which is great fun. So feel free to ask questions all through this live stream, and in between portraits I'll have a look at the chat. It's not so much a guided tutorial, but learning by doing and hanging out and practicing together. This is something I practice weekly, and everyone can join me on Tuesdays, quick timed sketches. And if at any point you feel like, I need a bit more time for this reference, you can come back and rewatch the video. After this, in the coming days, I will timestamp all of the individual portraits, so that if you are watching this after the live stream, you'll be able to jump to the specific portraits. So if you want to continue any, or if there's a particular face you'd like to spend some more time with, then you'll be able to use the timestamps to get to those. And how good is this portrait? Oh, cool. Ronnie's using water-soluble graphite as well. Awesome. Anyone else using water-soluble graphite, let me know. So I've just started discovering the joys of water-soluble graphite since last week. And it's like a normal pencil, except then you can hit it with your brush, with a water brush or something, and then turn it into a painting as well as a pencil sketch. It's like, I don't know, I'm totally digging it at the moment. You can let me know in the chat, in the comments, how you like water-soluble graphite, if you've got any experience with it. 32 people watching. It's amazing. You're all amazing. Thank you for being here. So cool. and a bunch of people in Zoom. So for those who are familiar with the Tuesday sessions, often the live stream Zoom is a bit more subdued. But if there's a moment to speak up or you have anything you want to say, go for it. You can unmute yourself to talk. And you're also totally welcome just to be in Zoom and not say anything and just feel like a content and silent guest at a dinner party where we're sketching together. Yeah. Claire Shannon says you should come to the Zoom room. I know Claire's probably got a live stream starting in 4 minutes. My amazing sister. But yeah, you could come after Claire if you want. If you finish your live stream, and you can come back because we'll still be sketching. Claire, my darling sister. Well, we've got more than half time left. Amazing. Claire is going to be our guest Thursday. Shannon and I will be doing a long pose portrait of my gorgeous darling sister Claire, who is a YouTuber and actor and wonderful person. It's going to be episode 4 of our Drawn Together show. You're all invited to come join us then as well. And it's going to be so cool. Be about an hour. We'll be sketching Claire, chatting about creativity, acting, social media, content creation, bloodletting. We'll see. Who knows what we're going to talk about? It's going to be about forgiveness and starting again. Is what our yeah yeah, because there's actually a secret lost episode of Drawn Together, which is would have been the first episode, which was with Claire, but it's lost. And maybe the lost episode. So this will be an actual episode with Claire. But there may be some pieces of the lost episode which see the light of day sometime. Yeah, that'd be great. Jane is using 4 levels of Pelican ink and a tiny brush so far. Probably pen later. Awesome. So cool. I'm kind of... we've reached the 6-minute mark. So this would be on our Tuesday sessions where we do 30 seconds up to 6-minute portraits. And this would be the next pose moment. And these 10-minute portraits have been something since October that I've been practicing a lot, and a format that I've been enjoying, and I really like these live streams. Oh yeah, that reminds me, someone who's watching, of you 37 people, if you would like to win one of the sketches, one of my original sketches from this session, then please, in the YouTube chat, the live chat, put exclamation marks in a comment and say, I want to win, and maybe you will. So one person will win one of these original sketches, and I'll send it anywhere in the world when I get around to it. And one of you could win one of these sketches. So please do that. I'll remind you a few times throughout the live stream because you're probably busy drawing right now. But be sure to let me know in the chat if you'd maybe like one of these, and maybe you'll get one. And if you'd really, really like one and you don't win, then you could buy one, because what am I going to do with them all? I'm happy for them to find new homes. Make me an offer. Your name's... I think in Zoom, how does it work? You can maybe right click on your name, and it comes up with rename. I can hear you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Does anyone else in Zoom have some guidance for how to change your username? Cool. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for getting me onto the water soluble graphite, Shelley. So cool. Yeah, maybe someday. So this was maybe I'll try ArtGraph someday. But this one, what you told me about it, and I was like, oh, hang on, don't I have some pencils that say aquarelle graphite on it? And I do. So that's what I'm using. And I've had yeah. And I've had these pencils for years and just never used them until you suggested I use them. So I am. So we've got a minute left. So it's interesting. So we'll be warming up as we move into this. I think, like at the 6 minute mark, I felt like, hey, this is good, and I'm like, now I kind of feel like I'm not sure what decisions I should be making. But the great thing about these longer sessions is we can kind of pick up on the things that we enjoy and feel good about, and maybe emphasize that a bit more, and try things out as well. With these 10-minute portraits, it's a great opportunity to experiment, try different things out. I actually have over on OBS, I have this guy's name is A. Smith. And if you would like to know about the stories of these people, be sure to check out the link in the description, which will direct you to the official exhibition website. And as you navigate through the website, you find all these different photos. That's where I've got screenshots from. And it tells a little bit about their alleged criminal activity. It's pretty interesting. I could be a public defender. Yeah, I cast no judgment on these people. Who knows what led them to make their decisions. All right, so that is the first 10-minute portrait. How did everyone go? It's always an interesting moment when I look up to the screen. I start to notice things which I wasn't as aware of as I was staring at the paper. And I hope it allows me the opportunity to kind of check my camera setup. So there's A. Smith. Could write that down here. A. Smith. Cool. 39 people watching, 24 likes. Thank you, everyone. You are also awesome. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, that could be a good thing. You might like to do that. I'll just have a little look. People saying that they want to win. If you want to win one of these sketches, tell me. Put some exclamation marks and say, I want to win. And when this is finished, I'll go through and, oh, cool, Jane wants to win. Tamara wants to win. Egbert wants to win. Gabriella wants to win. All these people want to win. Excellent. That's how you do it. You just get into the live chat on YouTube. Tell me you want to win. And maybe you will. One of you will. Let's move on to our next portrait, shall we? For those who want to know, I'm working with Hahnemühle Nostalgie paper, which I almost always do. If you've ever watched one of my things, then you may already know what I'm drawing on. I like it. Okay, next, I've got to look around. If you want to know what I'm doing, I've got to look around my camera to see my workspace on the computer. Here, we have H. McGuinness. I'll just give you a moment to look at these beautiful photos. Unfortunately on Zoom you can't see them, but I'm showing these large format photos on YouTube, and then we'll go into the Zoom thing. Zoomed in, the crop. Speaking of Zoom, if you want to join the Zoom room, follow the link in my description and you'll see my workspace, and you'll see some faces of these lovely people who are sitting here drinking water and sketching together. So let's draw H. McGuinness. Another 10-minute portrait. 10. Let's go. All right, I'm going to start this one differently. Just get loose and lots of lines and see what happens. This is such a beautiful photo. These photos are amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jane in Zoom was just saying who we all have to thank for these photos, because Jane got me onto them. It's like, hey, maybe you'd like to draw some of these. I'm like, I would like to draw some of these. Oh, there's a sound. All right. Is that a bot? All right. Oh no, here we go. We go remove. Remove. Sorry about that. If this, is it gone? Sorry about this, a little intermission. That's a weird sound. Oh no. If this happens, I will, too much, I will remove. So muting is a good idea. Mute, remove. Sorry about that. Remove due. No, it's a little disturbing and distracting. Okay, I wonder now if I can, I'm just going to pause this, and I might have to change the way I do this. There may have to be a secret link in future. There's just some weird bot activity for those watching on YouTube. You get a bit of extra time drawing H. McGuinness here. Sorry about that, Jane. I've only had it happen twice before, and it's hopefully it won't. Maybe I should stop talking about it, and those who are here, and we'll continue. Yeah, it's okay. Remove. Okay, I just removed. Yeah. No, maybe they can turn it on when they get in, but you could block sound and video. Thanks everyone for your patience. These things can happen on this beautiful and chaotic place called the internet. Let's keep drawing. Yeah, that was definitely, yeah. All right, on we go. All right, cool. Thanks, Jane. Yeah. Wait. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's so we'll see how this thing progresses. And in future, maybe I would love you all to sign up to my mailing list. This could be a good opportunity to mention that. I don't have it in the description below, but I send out information about my live streams to my mailing list. And if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, either be subscribing here on YouTube or sign up to my mailing list, and I inform people when these things are happening, and that could be, we'll have to see how things go as we keep doing these. But if that is a regular occurrence, then we'll find a way around to prevent that happening. Because I love having you here, whether you're on YouTube or the other secret place, which I maybe won't mention again. Yeah, so no. What was that? The bots, yeah, they're excited. So lost a little time with H. McGuinness, but so anyone who's watching on YouTube who has advice about how to keep things, I don't know, do we have any, what's it called, conference call experts? There is. I have reported them in the past. As you kick people out, you can report them, And some people are not people. They're just troll bots. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so far, I like the I like the ease with which people can join and participate, and it has in the regular meetups that we have. It's never been an issue. It's only been on YouTube events that it has been, and it was interesting because that seemed to happen as soon as I kind of mentioned it. No. So I think I was just saying something about how beautiful this photo is, and how, yeah. I did read into some of the stories of the people from these photos, and it's pretty interesting. On the website, it's broken down into different categories. There's joyriders, there's bruisers, there's gang bosses, and there's like petty crime. There's the petty crime section. And it's so interesting. I don't know, before discovering these incredible photos and this exhibition, like I didn't really know much about the Roaring 20s in Sydney. And I just think it's so interesting to think, this is like 100 years ago these people were photographed. And now we're drawing them on YouTube together. Yeah. And it seems like, I don't know, they were just kind of in some archives and someone must have found them and fallen in love with them, was like, this has got to be an exhibition. These are incredible. Like the resolution, the lighting, composition, they're just oddly beautiful mugshots. They're from Sydney, Australia. No. Isn't everyone in Australia? Oh yeah. So that's interesting. I think that's an interesting conversation to have. Shannon just asked, "Isn't everyone who's in Australia originally a criminal?" And I talked about it when we sketched Danny Lim a few weeks back, and that was kind of, there was the convict settlers who came over and were basically used to set up the infrastructure of the country, and I think a lot of people identify with that convict history, but the interesting thing is that all of the law enforcers and all of the people who were there to keep them in their place, make sure they worked, and they also, they stayed as well, and so it's been interesting just thinking about it recently, that there's kind of perhaps, there is different. Of course, there have been lots of different kind of migration incidences, I guess, but to think from that part of the colonization of Australia, that there's like a lineage of convicts who maybe just stole bread, or maybe they committed more serious crimes, but they ended up in Australia. And then there's also a lineage of authoritarian law enforcers. So I think that is only something I've kind of come to realize in the past few years. Is an interesting aspect of the, a fraction of the population of Australia have either that or that kind of family background. It's interesting. All right. Thank you, H. McGuinness. Alma Mater, Anya just said, it's so funny listening to you talking to the Zoom room, but only getting half of it. Greetings to the Zoom gang. I'll just put the name down here. H. McGuinness. All right, moving along to G. Mammona. Mammona. All these people are so stylish, which I also think is a really interesting thing. Like maybe this is just how people dressed in Sydney in the 1920s, but they're also stylish, and they've got their hair done. They're all like looking pretty good. All right, let's draw G. Mammona. G. Mammona. 10 minutes now. Starting now. I'm doing things. Katya, Beth, Irene would love to win as well. Maybe you will. Anyone who wants. Okay. All right. Cool. I'll make a note of that. People in Zoom who would like to win, you may win. We shall see. Someone. Yeah. This guy looks like he has a wig on. Maybe. There are some, in these old photos, there are some super interesting hairstyles. I'm kind of think, what were they? Is that real? What are they doing with their hair? Which was like a thing at the time, I guess. Like making their hair do things it doesn't want to do, or maybe wearing someone else's hair. Yeah, like you just put it on. Someone asked what pencil I'm using. This is Ruth asked. This is Faber-Castell 6B graphite aquarelle. So water soluble graphite. Yeah, it gets super dark. That's a risky thing. I noticed in the first sketch that I did, because it's water soluble, if your paper is wet. Are you using it as well, Barbara? Yeah. Yeah, if you draw into the wet paper, then it's just like instantly a super dark line, which is a bit. Add more water to dilute it. Yeah. Yeah, then you need a paper that can handle water. I know. I feel like, what's going on? I made the nose too long. Something's gonna miss with this face. I feel like it's a bit off. We're just 3 minutes in. Got time to edit. Yeah, and that's like with these water soluble pencils with it's good to kind of I noticed that how if you try and put line work into the wet paper, it bleeds and gets super dark. So it's kind of it seems like it's good to have your drawing kind of set up, and once you're happy with it, then you start adding water to it. But then there's that moment where it's like, oh, I'd like a bit more definition, a bit more contrast, and there's like where you want to put some more line work in. But maybe then it would be good to have a different pencil on hand, like a polychromos black or something. I could try that. Something that's not water soluble, so you can just add a bit of line work without it misbehaving. Could I put the name of the mugshot up a little longer or type in the comments? Yeah. I can do that. I'll show the full picture a bit longer because all of the names are on there. And when I timestamp in the coming days, I'm going to add timestamps to each of the individual portraits. So you could come back, or if you're watching after the live, you'll be able to go to a specific portrait, and then I'll add the names to all of our models. Yeah, that's a thing I can do. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it could be. Oh, they're so good. It was just a comment that it could look like someone from the Addams Family. The characters so good. I don't know all of them, but there's a wide range of crimes that people were suspected for. I don't know if it said anything definitive in the comments, because at the moment I was kind of just scanning through, looking for interesting faces to draw. But I did notice there were some people who had a few photos taken with a few years between, so like they kept coming back to the police. And Jane, didn't you say on Tuesday that like people liked the style of photography so much that like they would intentionally do something to get arrested to have their photo taken because the photos are so cool? It's like, wow, have you seen that constable's photography? Wow, he's so good. What do I got to do to get my photo taken by that guy? Yeah, get dressed up really well, act like you're committing a crime. Yeah. That's a super good idea. On the day of your wedding, commit a minor crime, and get a really classy photo taken. All right, I'm gonna brave the water now, I think. We've got about 3 minutes left. Compared to the Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people like to do it. Some people do, like I've seen after the live streams, some people write down like notes and quotes from the live streams and stuff, but you can do whatever you want. There's something, so the question was, should we write down the names of the people we're drawing? In general, I think it's nice to have some kind of connection to the subject, which is nice, drawing people you know, but also learning about the history of a person, kind of, whatever these people did, whatever kind of character there was, just honoring their humanhood. I don't know if the name, there's one of the guys we're going to draw is interesting because it said on his, he got arrested a couple times and had like 7 names. So he had all these fake names. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. So the comment for those of you on YouTube was just that it's interesting, the idea of seeing these people making up your own story about them. And if you didn't know that these were mugshots, like it'd probably be totally different stories, right? They, yeah, maybe it looks like wedding guests. um, I want this to dry now. All right, cool. And you're working into the wet. Yeah, so I've got a polychromos here, and I'm just gonna sketch in a bit in the last 10 seconds, sketching into a bit. And I think this works. Like if you've got a different, a non-water soluble pencil that you're working into it, it seems to be a good way to touch that up. Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you, G. Mammona. G. I'll put up, unfortunately you can't see it on Zoom, but I would just put up here, you can see G. Mammona. The 15th of February. Oh, no. Oh, that's probably his birthday. No, it can't be, because then he was born after his photo was taken. Huh? I'm confused. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I'm often confused. That's all right. Here we have May Smith. How good is this photo? All of these photos are amazing. Can I type the name in the Zoom chat? All right. So the last one was G. Oh no, now I can't see it. Mammona. You got it? Oh, thanks so much, Shane. You're so good. All right. So now next one is May Smith. I'll just have a little look in the chat. There are these moments in between this portraits where I'll just have a look in the chat, see what people are saying. If you would like to win one of the sketches, tell me in the chat. And hi Russ. Zoom. As you was a guest. Thanks to everyone who's in the special place where there's a link in the description. 40 people are watching now. 31 likes. Amazing. Thanks for the thumbs up, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sketching along. Let's zoom in on May Smith. Here we go. And start our fourth portrait for this session. This time I'm going to start with the non-water soluble pencil. Do a quick sketch and then add water soluble graphite to it and see what happens. So then whatever line work I set up in the beginning is going to stay in place, and then I can use the water soluble graphite for the hatching. That could be interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like these brush pens, right? Yeah. And so you can really get on point if you're doing the details or control how much water is flowing from the pen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll try it this way this time and then jump back. I can kind of use this kind of focused practice where we're doing a whole bunch of sketches to, each, you can just plow through it and just have fun, or could maybe take the opportunity to be like, oh, I'm going to try doing this a little bit different, maybe if I did it like this time, and these kind of quick sketches. And the whole month of 10-minute portraits, I think for me it's been really enjoyable trying out different mediums. I'd love to know from people in the chat if you've been following along this month with the 10-minute portraits, how you've found it. I love seeing everyone's work. And if you are posting on social media, use the hashtags I've put up on the YouTube's display here, Drawing with Dylan and 10-minute portrait. All right. So now this is going to be my residing line work, and now I'm going to come into it with the water-soluble graphite and see. It'll be pretty loose, and then I'll be able to like brush in with that, and all of that line work, I guess, is going to remain. If anyone, I don't know if anyone watching in the chat now, live, has seen this exhibition or knows anything about this, or knows much about the 1920s and the flourishing underworld. This is what this exhibition has been titled, Underworld, with all of these mugshots. Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching after the fact, like if you've seen this exhibition. Or if you know much about the underworld of the 1920s, wherever it may be. As I understand, also in the States, it was a pretty interesting era. Yeah, the intense black on the right. I think I'm just seeing it as like a big block of black, like just one shape, kind of unified shape. So come at the graphite now with some water. Yeah, that's cool. Katja just said on YouTube, how will people talk about us in 100 years and how we look? That'll be interesting. Yeah, super interesting. Yeah, rob a bank first to get your classy photo taken. Claire's here. Is Claire a bot? Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, maybe some people have joined since then, but Thursday at 9 p.m. German time, which was like 20 minutes ago, Shannon and I will be drawing my amazing sister Claire, who is a YouTuber, content creator, actor, wonderful person, and we'll be doing a long pose portrait sketch from a still taken from the short film that Claire was in called Bloodletting, and we'll be having a chat and it'll be great. So if you would like, I'm sure you're loving the 10-minute portraits, but if you would like to spend an hour on a portrait, come join us for that one and just join in for the conversation. It's going to be great. Are you here in Zoom, Claire? Okay. Yeah, hello. Yeah, that's because we had some unfortunate things happening. And if you put anything nasty up, we're going to kick you off. So yeah, and it was really loud too. It wasn't just offensive imagery. It was just loud. It's like, whoa, what's going on? So yeah, so that was interesting. Claire, what do you know about Claire? What do you know about Sydney in the 1920s? You never use it. Hosting things. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it was a bit exciting. I'm a big fan of, openness and having things be accessible. So that it just kind of adds an extra bit of excitement to the challenge of coordinating these things. Yeah. Oh, I think this, starting with the non-water soluble pencil underneath, I think it worked out for this. Like, it retained a lot of that definition. Whereas with the previous sketches, I kind of felt like, oh, what I liked about the pencil drawing was just kind of dissolving. And it's pretty challenging once the paper gets really wet to towards the end. It's like, oh, how do you get that back? So that's interesting. All right, thank you very much, May Smith. That was May Smith. The next one we have is R.K. Robertson, who also has interesting hair. Is it a perm? It's really like this, like a tight mat, super cool. So stylish. Look at this. So good. R.K. Robertson. I love these images where there's like, there's the close-up, the portrait, and then there's like a full body, often wearing a hat. Thanks for putting the name in the chat there, Jane. What is inside my water tank? This is water. I'm using a brush pen with the water-soluble graphite. So this is a Pentel brush pen, and it's just full of water. The plastic is looking a bit grubby. It's like, it's been around. All right, let's zoom into the portrait here. Code word zoom into the portrait because it's a closer crop. And let's draw this amazing, from this amazing reference. Cool. I'll just bring this up. I think this is really interesting. I felt like, I don't know, Do I do it again with the non-water soluble one first? Nah, I'll go straight water soluble, and maybe I'll add some of the other pencil to it after. So let's go, 10 minutes. He's very dapper. He is very dapper, isn't he, Ronnie? Did I miss any other questions? So Beth, I hope that was long enough to get that. R.K. Robertson. I sure am. I'm yeah, that's right. I am. Yeah, that's the resolution of the reference on YouTube is much higher than the video feed. But sometimes it's it's nice working with limitations. Working from blurry reference can also be really liberating. If I remember it correctly. This guy, I think, was a joyrider. Like maybe stole a car. Did they have cars back in 100 years ago? I think they did, right? Stole a horse, and rode through town. So there's a subcategory in these mugshots for joyriders, and there's a few. I didn't read into it too much, but it was just interesting that was one of the subcategories. It doesn't look joyful because he was caught. But maybe he's not joyful because it was his car, or someone lent him the car. Sad rider. Oh, really? Okay. That was a... Hi Cora, welcome. Miss Lupix, you thought it was watercolor. It is basically. It's like graphite watercolor. It says aquarelle, graphite aquarelle. It basically is grey watercolor. I don't know how it works. It's graphite, but it's water soluble. So it wasn't just today. Okay. Yeah, I've wondered about the sportiness. Just returning back to the topic that this person was a what did I say? Joyrider? Yeah. The joy of riding. I wonder where the term came from. Sporty rider, yeah. Or maybe he was, yeah. Maybe it's like, or maybe the prevailing opinion at the time was that driving should not be, or riding, whatever his vehicle was, should not be a joyful pursuit. If you're having too much fun while riding, then they'll pull you over and take you in for a fancy portrait. It's a serious sport. Joyriding. This is serious. And it's probably going like, I don't know, how fast the cars even go back then. Nah. That's the point of contention. That's where the thrill comes from. And that's the sport, maybe. That's the sport. And if you get caught by the cops, you've lost. And then the joy, and then the joy stops. I don't know. But who knows? Maybe it was not true. Maybe he didn't do it. But it was 100 years ago, and he won't be able to tell us. Yes, Claire? No. Anyone listening, watching, you just lost the game. And if you know what that means, tell me in the chat. Thanks, Claire. I haven't lost the game for years. Yeah, that was epic. That's the longest. Actually, everyone listening just lost the game, even if you don't know what we're talking about. Thanks, Claire. Look what you've done. So we've got like, I don't know, Claire, you might want to explain. I think so. Even if they don't know what it is. And then they know what it is. Maybe. We were losing daily. Is there any time restriction between like how often you can lose? That I don't know. Yeah. Oh no, Cora lost the game. Oh, Fabian, haven't lost the game for years. Neither had I. So we lost it together. For those who are just on YouTube, there was just a secret conversation in this place where most people are welcome if you're an actual person. And maybe down in the description below. Yeah, and my sister, who was just recounting the tale of how Claire got me a job, which was a great moment for the family. And we would count seeds together every day, spend 8 hours a day counting seeds. And it was quite well paid for seed counting. And in addition to counting seeds, we would be losing the game daily, many times a day. And whenever you think of the game, you've lost it. And you have to tell someone that you've lost, and then they lose too, even if they don't know what you're talking about. You cannot but lose the game. So thanks for bringing that back into our lives, Claire. All right, 5 seconds left. I'm just gonna hit. Yeah, 45 years is a pretty good stretch of winning the game. All right, so last thing here, how intense are these eyes? I'm just gonna put in, just add a little bit of definition with the black polychromos. Is that what it is? I get confused. Yeah. All right, thank you. Who's this again? R.K. Robertson. Thank you for sharing your joy with us through time. R.K. Robertson. 100 years of joy writing. Who have we got next? Ev M. Benn. Just take a moment to enjoy these photos. Just have a look through the chat, see how people were losing the game. Greetings and salutations. Sasquatch. Let me have a look over here. 44 people are watching. That's so cool. Thank you for being here. 36 likes. That means a few more of you could put a little thumbs up on this video and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And let's draw Ev M. Benn. EV.M.BENN. What do those numbers even mean? 9th of the 4th, 23 was probably when the photo was taken. And this person was born in 1188, maybe. I don't know. That's true. Okay, might not be the year of birth. All right, here we go. maybe not. All right, Ev M. Benn, 10 minutes. Yeah, I think it's totally feasible. Oh. So a little speculation, just in the actual voice conversation that's happening on the side here, the little speculation about these people's crimes, what they were arrested for. Maybe time travel. Maybe. They all deserve fan fiction, yeah. Oh, they're just such expressive photos. It's so interesting. I would recommend that you check out the link to this website, the Underworld exhibition website, because there are so many more photos. I grabbed a whole bunch of them and just had to whittle down my list to the ones I've got selected for today. 10 I have up here. I've already done 5. So many amazing faces. And it's so interesting, like what you can kind of read into their faces, or what you can imagine how they feel about having their portrait taken, or the reason that they were taken in. Oh yeah. What do we see here? Tired. I don't know. I'm often tired. I'm seeing this and it's like, oh, I've got to pose for this photo. I'm so tired. Maybe 1888, yeah. Could be Ruth. Maybe the person writing onto the negative just got their digits wrong. Oh, they just have these like moments of joy, and just looking at a photo, like, oh, so cool, drawing from these images. And there's like, it's so interesting, the time traveling element of this, that this is like a face from 100 years ago, like gazing at us without knowing it. And sometimes I get this really interesting sense of connection to the muse, the model, the person in the photo. And it's so interesting, especially when they don't know they're being drawn. Like, how could they? It's like, it's one thing when you're drawing people live, whether it's in life or in Zoom, or whatever. But like, I've often had this kind of this sense this interesting sense of connection drawing someone who has no idea I'm drawing them, like from a photo, and I think it's like the kind of presence that we experience when we really focus on something that leads to this sense of connection. And it's just something that I find super interesting. It's nice to notice. I feel like I haven't noticed it for a while, and just had this moment. So it's nice to share it with all of you. Oh, I thought that. Mm-hmm. I'd be surprised if any of the people we're sketching today are still alive. Oh, yeah. Jane's my co-host in the inner circle. Ah, I really like this how it is at the moment. But we're just like half time, so there's something about this right now which I'm just like, really liking. Maybe I'll just grab a photo of it, and that's all right. I'll put it back. Don't worry. It was just a momentary thing. We're back, but there's just something about something that felt really nice about just that pure line drawing. It'd be interesting to see after adding water what is retained of that. Yeah. That's so good. um, that is such. I just have to relay that on YouTube, which is the comment that just imagining if this person had known 100 years ago that in 2022 people from all around the world would be sketching them, maybe they would have done more crime. Yeah. Tamara, if you cool, thanks Jane. On the website, which I have put in the description of this exhibition, you can actually find all of these original, these reproductions, the reference photos. And there it says what their crimes were. And if, I don't know, I don't want to get things mixed up. It may have been, like, even the framing, the wording of it, like, planning to steal, maybe, I think was this one from Ev. I was like, planning? Really? Did it? Is it? Yeah. I don't know. Australia, police state. I wonder if there's actually a profession these days which is like mugshotographer. That would be so interesting. Like totally specialized on, capturing that special moment on your special day. when, when you allegedly get busted for something that you maybe didn't do. Minority Report, thinking about stealing, got arrested. It's like, I'm so tired. I was just thinking. Sketching, yeah. Yeah, court sketches. It's interesting that thing about court sketches. Like the idea is they're not allowed to take photos, right? And it's interesting. Is that still the case? Like a court's like this last bastion of resisting technology, or have things? They film everything, but they're not allowed to take photos. All right, that was Ev M Ben. Yeah. That was a fun one. Yeah, cool. Tomorrow, you just saw the link that I posted. If you want to, you can dig around and find the Roaring Twenties Underworld. So cool. I definitely recommend it. If you're looking for some really, there are so many amazing photos on there. Let's look at the next amazing photo of Kong Lee. So dapper. They're just so good, so intense. So I'll just put that name in the chat over in the inner circle, where everyone's welcome if you're a human. Kong Lee. And here is the portrait that we'll be working from. Let's begin. So we just heard that during the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial there was a court sketcher, and that's so interesting that in such a like public televised thing that there was still a someone sketching there. the time-honoured tradition of court sketching. Yeah, to have a memento. Remember that time? Yeah, that'd be cool if you're doing the sketching the court proceedings and bust out your hairdryer to dry the watercolor. Everyone's looking, it's like, oh, got to dry this before I put down the next layer, otherwise it's going to bleed, and don't want that. Does anyone on YouTube know anything about the profession of court sketchers? Just maybe things like court jesters. It's like, you got to have them there. Mm-hmm. Cool. Are they? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, where they're just like, this person looked like this, and they were doing this with their eyes, and they had a moustache, and they were like looking a bit hungry, and then someone's like, oh, so it's like this person, and they do this sketch. Sorry, everyone on YouTube, you're just missing the whole conversation over on this other secret place. Where you're all welcome. But so there's an Instagram account called Courtroom Art where courtroom sketchers, artists share their work. That's interesting. Don't they have like non-disclosure agreements? They're allowed to. I'm not seeing it at the moment. Tag me in it. So the artist maybe not impartial. They're sitting there and they're listening to the story and they're like, oh, this person did what? And the courtroom artist is like adding horns and like fire in the eyes and stuff. Or like, no, this person can't have done it. And they put a little halo on the court drawing. And then it totally Could they be trained perhaps not to add halos and horns to their sketches? They're like swaying the opinion of the jury by these embellishments, and then the people are like looking at this and like, oh, this person has horns? They definitely did it. Yeah, maybe like just kind of totally underestimating the significance of the role of the courtroom sketcher. Mm. If anyone knows about what's involved in the training of being a courtroom sketcher, some people are interested to know. Can you be trained not to put your impartial kind of inflections and embellishments into something? How are people trained to perceive and represent things in a non-judgmental, neutral way? Some interesting. Sell them to the family. I think I just remembered. I think Kong Lee was accused of being a safe breaker. Yeah. That's a niche specialization. So that is a pretty cool crime. That's just a little quote. There was a cool scene in Wednesday where Thing, who only a hand, has this like, I guess, this really fine feeling for safes. Click, 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 click. I wonder, what's the training involved in being a safe breaker? Is it like having a really good fingertip kind of sensation? Be like, oh, yep, that's going to open now. I just felt something happening. Really? But exploding a safe is a very obvious way to break a safe, right? Maybe that's why I got caught. So you weren't going for the old silent turn it this way, turn it that way. It was the old boom boom, blow it up. I was like, that's how we caught you. We were all just, yeah. We're just sitting around, heard this big explosion. You're drawing, Claire? I would love to know in the YouTube chat if you're drawing. The conversation's good. So my darling sister was I just asked her drawing, said only did one and then decided against it. But you would have gone back to bed. It's early in the morning in Adelaide. Oh, look at you. That's wild. All right. So it's Kong Lee. The timer just went, but I've just got some more areas I wanted to add that touch of water to. There's such a all these reference photos. They're just so intense. It's so interesting. How's everyone enjoying these sketches? The references, and let me know in the chat if you're drawing along. Are you watching on YouTube as well, Claire? Yeah. Oh, cool. Excellent. So anyone who, if you have your own YouTube channel, or if you're thinking of setting up a YouTube channel, Claire Sara has a channel called Grow on YouTube with Claire Sara. That's what it's called, right? It's only called Claire Sara, and she puts this thing. It's about growing on YouTube. And Claire's doing daily live streams as well this month, where she's doing YouTube channel reviews. So you can check out Claire's channel, and if you'd like to get some feedback on your channel, maybe Claire can give you some. You should be following Claire. Claire's cool. And all right, I'd like a bit more. All right, last thing, gone a bit over time with this one, but just gonna get the black pencil here to add a bit more definition. Just knowingly breaking my own rules, going over time, but that's all right. This is my live stream. And if anyone feels like they're totally finished, I'm like, oh, I stopped at 10 minutes. Dylan is cheating. Sorry, but all right, I think that's enough. Let us move on to the next sketch. And yeah, I'd love to know how you're going. 38 people are watching, 42 likes. How is that even possible? That's amazing. Thank you so much. If you would like to win one of these original sketches, maybe you weren't here in the beginning when I mentioned it, but you can tell me in the chat, I'd like to win a sketch, and you may win one. One person who's active in the YouTube chat, and perhaps on the ZOOM chat, you may win a sketch. You get to choose. I'll send it anywhere in the world that has a delivery service, I guess. Now we have F. Steele. Look at this. Two friends. Nah. So we're going to be drawing F. Steele on the right. Banbury. I don't know. Maybe that was the officer. No, hang on. R. Wilson Kemp. Banbury. I don't know what those things mean. The writing on top of the negative, like this silver writing, looks so amazing. So cool. So we're going to get in close and personal with F. Steele here. What was this? I can't remember. Can't remember his apparent crime. But he was dressed for the occasion. Drawing along so far. Gee, Mammona was the most challenging. Yeah, right. I feel the same. Maybe I'll pass it on. My own kind of challenge. Like, yeah, we've got 3 left to go. Let's just start drawing. 10 minutes. Yeah, I'd love to know on YouTube how you're enjoying this experience. What you found challenging. What insights you may have had into your own practice or this session. Could be. Someone's definitely hit that nose at least once, is a claim that's just been made. Yeah, it's got a real directionality to it. Maybe. Yeah. Receding with style. Oh no, all these people, they just all look so stylish to me. Kira, my dear wife, works in the English Fachdidactik, which is English pedagogics, maybe? Is that what it's called in English? I don't know. But it's like teaching people how to teach English. And they have this really interesting thing that she's teaching future English teachers. And there's this exercise that she's done sometimes where she'll have all these future teachers and she just shows them a bunch of photos of students. And it's like, based on these photos, who do you think's going to fail and who's going to get the best grades in the class? and then these young future teachers are like, oh, look at that one. That's a troublemaker. They're gonna fail, and then people get like really into it, and it's like, do you realize what you're all just doing? And it's like you can't like, and that's so interesting. Like looking at these photos as well, I think it's like just looking at these people, you can't make any judgments about them, apart from the fact that there's a strong directionality to the nose, perhaps. But I think that's something interesting about that, knowing the context of these photos. But still to be like, these are all people that, for whatever reason, made some interesting choices, or maybe they didn't and have just been accused of doing so. It's yeah. And maybe they're just a couple of years old. So that's a super interesting idea. That maybe we'll find out they're not mugshots at all. They're actually fashion photos, and it's like this whole staged experiment, artistic exhibition, and people are like, totally falling for it. And it's like, oh wow, look, just because I told you a thing doesn't mean that thing is a thing. And oh yeah. They're not even people, they're AI images. What prompt? Prompt was like 1920s, stole a car. Oh yeah, that's been a buzz this week, right? But yeah, I see. I saw those. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. It was interesting. The first of the wave of AI portraits I saw was someone who I have drawn um, in the past from Sketchy, and super nice guy. And he was like, "Oh, hey, check these out." And that was the first one I saw, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's interesting." And yeah, and there's been a lot of, I think, interesting discussion going around. There's this whole say no to AI thing, which is really interesting. Um, and it's like I appreciate the fact that nothing about my enjoyment and joy of sketching is diminished by the fact that AI, which has been trained by like just sucking up art of the internet and fed through algorithms, um, like the act of creation and making something is like, I understand there are big areas and industries where like concept art, a lot of places where people are going to be able to be like, oh, I'll just get AI to make this thing for me. But it's interesting. Like it's interesting now that it's like it's been happening for a while now. There's been a lot of AI generated imagery, but I guess this recent wave of interest and outrage is like connected to the portrait thing, because now people are actually putting their own likeness into these things, which makes it kind of more like direct and relatable, because we connect to these people's likenesses and faces so much. But there was a I think it was Yuval Noah Harari, A Short History of Humankind or something. I think he was writing about AI and basically how nothing is safe from AI. Even lawyers and doctors and highly specialized trained people, like there are programs and algorithms which are being trained which, you know, in an instant can access this information that people would have to spend time in a library or on some database finding. And it's like, even I guess for me, I first became aware of it with like the idea of automated vehicles, and it's like, you know, truck drivers leaving their jobs and stuff, and it's like, it's there are a lot of things, a lot of fields which it's having an impact in and will continue to. But fortunately, you know, drawing is just awesome. And there's nothing about the experience of drawing, the presence and the focus, the connection, and I think like the community around all of the art community online is such a beautiful thing, and like such an interesting part of the experience and growing and learning together. I see a big point of contention is that a lot of people saying, yeah, these algorithms are using stolen art, basically, and not giving any credit to the original creators of the art, which these works are being based upon. But yeah, it's a big thing. It's not just art. It's like everything. Yeah. Yeah. All right, that was our 10 minutes with F. Steele. Thank you, F. Steele. How did everyone go with F here? Yeah, it's interesting that you say that it seems like something's up with the right eye. As I was drawing it, there's often this, there is a description of like Buddha and enlightened beings which have their eye half open and half closed. It's like half out in the world and half introspective. And I was thinking that as I was drawing this kind of lazy eye. And it's like, you know, if you cover up one side of the face, it's like, oh, that's amazing. It's like two such different vibes from these two halves of the face. So asymmetrical, so interesting. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Our next model, G. Moody. G. Moody has like 10 different names. And this is one I used in the thumbnail for today. So you may have seen this one already, and I posted to my Instagram stories. Look at that face. Oh, it's like, come on. Oh, so interesting. So G. Moody, who's not this person's actual name, I think. Second to last reference that I have lined up for us. So thank you everyone who's still here. I love it that you're still here, 32 of you. And if you'd like to win one of these original sketches, then let me know in the chat, and perhaps you will. Let's start drawing. This is interesting, little head tilt, which can be tricky. The eye didn't do it head tilt. It's the puppy dog tilted head. I didn't do it. Like, really? G. Moody wouldn't do such a thing. G. Moody. Yeah, it's so cool. I'll have to have a look on it again, but on the website of the exhibition, it has like this list of of names for this person, which is pretty cheeky, having so many names. Yeah. Oh yeah. So Claire was just asking, in the age of AI, if there are any teachers watching, it'd be interesting to know, how do you deal with AI writing? And that's something I read about yesterday as well, that students can put prompts in. It's like, write a 2,000 word paper on this subject and just get an AI generated piece of writing. That's interesting. To think about that, it makes me think, and it's something I think about with school. Our oldest child is 9 at school, and sometimes some of the tasks, it's like it's the stuff they have to do for school, but sometimes it's like, this is not the most kind of engaging, interesting way to be teaching. Bye-bye, Grace. Thanks for joining us here. And it's like, if you want, yeah, how do people go about that issue of cheating with AI and be like, AI, write this paper for me, and then get something which, like, it's only just going to keep improving and be like. Something really interesting that I read from one of these artists was that AI can only like be the algorithms. They can only look to the past because they have input. It's like all this writing or all these images, the input which is put in, which it then kind of recalibrates and creates a thing based on these things that have been put into it. But it's not, or at least not at the moment, it's not innovative. Like, it can't create something at the moment, yeah. Like, it can't create something new if it's basically what it creates is just based on what's put into it. Which yeah. Yeah, so I was just going to say, it calls, I'll just shortly say this as a little input into YouTube, and then I'd like to hear what you have to say. But I feel like the education system in general calls for a kind of, it needs to be engaging. somehow to activate like the intrinsic desire to learn and create, which is a challenging thing to do, right? But that's kind of, if it's going beyond like you need to have these 3 impossible tasks done by tomorrow, and it's actually about creating genuine interest and the desire to learn. Yeah, it's just my little input. Please continue. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I could. Mm-hmm. Mm. That takes some dedication. Someone said, I think in one of our Tuesday sketch sessions, that someone said like these prove you're a human, these capture things, and it's like, what is a bus? And then you click on the buses, and it's like, what if we're actually training AI every time we answer the question? So it's like, prove you're human by clicking on these things. And maybe that capture thing is actually, it's inputting information, training AI to be able to recognize these things, to be able to prove that it's a human. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so it's such an interesting way to frame it. Prove that you're human and teach our robot. Miss Lupix, I'm looking like Moody too now. Maybe I'll win. Hey Sue, finally made it to a live. So nice to have you here. This is our second to last portrait, but you'll be able to watch the replay. And 10 portraits, 10-minute portraits today. 32 people still here, so cool. Yeah, I'm doing 10-minute portrait sketch live streams every day this month, and most of them being about 8:30 German time. And I'm probably around Christmas and between Christmas and New Year, I may have some pre-recorded ones that I'll put up, because, you know, it's good to spend time with my family. And I've really been loving this challenge, and I love that so many people participating and sharing their work. Love seeing it on Instagram. If you are sharing your sketches from here on Instagram, be sure to tag me, and use the hashtag drawingwithdylan and 10-minute portrait. Alright, that's our 10 minutes with F Moody. So could have done with a bit more contrast in the hair. I like this one. Feel like, you know, 9th portrait in. So interesting. In the Tuesday sessions, everyone's welcome to come sketch with us on Tuesdays as well. 7:30 p.m. every Tuesday. I do a live Zoom session where we practice timed sketching between 30 seconds and 6 minutes. All right, here comes the last portrait. I've actually drawn from this one before. This is E.M. Lindsay. And here is the full format. So interesting. It's like, take off your hat for the close-up, please. So anyone who wants to ask any questions, feel free to ask, because we're going to do this. This is going to be the last portrait sketch now, and then I'll be able to answer any questions. You've noticed I don't use the same starting point in my portraits. The explanation for why I don't use the same starting point is it's part of doing all this timed sketching, where there's not much time, and it's just like the first thing that grabs my attention, I just start. And I also have, sometimes I'll like start by the shape of the head, or it'll be like, right now I'm looking like where the hair is kind of, the shadow of the hair is touching the eye, it's like it's drawing my attention, and that'll just be like the place where I'll just start from. So there's probably, I'll just put the name down here of G. Moody, the pretend name, one of the many names of G. Moody. And the follow-up to that, I'm loving this portrait. Watching you has been so inspiring. Thank you. Thanks, Sue. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So, come over here. Close up. So I did this as a calligraphy pen portrait, which is actually also up on my YouTube channel. All right, 10 minutes, last 10-minute portrait for today. And the calligraphy pen portrait I did of this, like these black and white photos, they lend themselves so well to inking with. So it's been interesting today doing the pencil drawings. I didn't even start where I said I was going to start. I like started up here. Talking about it, looking at it, I was like, yeah, this over here near the eye, that's where I'm going to start. And then it was just like, no, just start here at the hair. So I don't know if someone were to look through all my videos and see how often do I start with the eye, or how often do I start with glasses or hair, or with the bottom of the chin. I don't know. I'm not sure if there may be a pattern to it, but there's often an area of I don't know, maybe detail or contrast, or just whatever seems interesting. So in these Tuesday sessions, we always start with 30-second sketches. And so you just need to start sketching. There's not much time to think about it. And that has been great practice for me, just diving in, sketching without thinking too much about like, what am I going to do? I have practiced in the past doing things like the Loomis head method, and I think it can be super beneficial and understanding anatomy and stuff, but I don't enjoy the process of like starting with a structure. Like, nothing against people who do like using that, like everyone finds their own way, but this way of just kind of expanding, moving throughout an image is that, I guess there's something limiting about the idea of putting down, or this was my experience, and everyone learns in their own way, and it's all totally valid, and everyone does what they do. But when I was trying to do like Loomis head stuff, I felt quite constrained by the structure and the model underneath. And there was a long phase of like, how to bring kind of looseness and life to sketches. And I feel like timed sketching has really, it's helped me so much. Like just not having too much time to deliberate about it, just diving in, pick somewhere and start drawing. And I also love seeing that, like in all of these practices, like how everyone has their different approach, and I think it's really interesting to see in the Tuesday sketch sessions how some people they'll focus on a part, like maybe make it about eyes, and like build up the eyes, and then kind of if there's time to expand through the image, and I kind of like try and capture a lot quickly, and then maybe go back and build things up a bit more. And I also like mixing it up. trying different things. Right, Claire says if there are glasses, 98% of the time I start with the glasses. That could be. I feel like glasses are very helpful in finding your way around. Not many glasses in these portraits, right? Any? Were there any? That's interesting. Please remove your hat and glasses for this photo. I guess less people. Oh, maybe because of the reflection. Maybe people just... People wearing glasses just don't get arrested because they obviously don't commit crimes. Yeah. Like the safe breaker. The police are sitting down to their lunch and they hear this loud explosion and they all go running and they see this guy covered in soot and like his hair is half burnt off but he's wearing glasses, and they see this other guy. I'm like, he probably did it. He's leaving the scene. It's like the Clark Kent and Superman thing. It's like put on glasses after the crime and you won't be caught. Ah, yeah. Totally. So that was a super interesting theory that Lois Lane is actually face blind and actually didn't recognize that Clark Kent and Superman are the same person because if you're face blind, it's difficult. If someone puts glasses on, they become a different person. That's a good theory. Oh, this reference is so good, right? So interesting. Like I'm thinking back to the ink version I did, which was so different, like such a different drawing. And it can be so interesting to draw the same face or draw the same reference, but in a different way. That's also a wonderful thing. I'm just going to promote Tuesdays a bit here because everyone should come and draw with us on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. German time. And that we have everyone's welcome. Almost every week there's someone new. There are also people who've been with us for like 2.5 years. And it's so interesting drawing the same people again and again in different positions. We pose for each other. It's, yeah, really interesting drawing the same face again and again. And also, since we're... Come on, say, Claire, what would you like to say? Cool. Sue, yes, I will also send a sketch. If someone wins a sketch, or if someone would like to buy a sketch, I'll send to anywhere in the world that has a postal address. So for sure, if you would like to win a sketch and have not yet said in the chat, I would like to win, please do so. And you will you will have a chance at winning. And if you have oh yeah, you could do that for sure. That'd be wonderful. Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Claire's going to go through and see who has said, I want to win a sketch. So apparently in the Zoom chat, there are some who are not in the YouTube chat. So check that out. just under 2 minutes left, so time for a bit of water on here. Bye, Lisa. Thanks for joining. Okay, then I'll do it because once this is finished, I'll see everything. Yeah, and if you would like to learn from me with monthly tutorial videos, and I also send out zines and original like physical copies of my work. I have a Patreon. The link is in the description below if you would like to get onto that. If you enjoy my work and would like to support what I do and get some art and get some instruction. I also take requests. If there's anything in particular you would like to learn from me, just let me know. And I do monthly tutorial videos on Patreon. Or if you just enjoyed this and would like to buy me a coffee, I also have a link in the description below. And if you're not in a position to pay, you're also totally appreciated for being here, and thank you so much for joining the fun. And definitely come and watch us on Thursday. The Drawn Together show, we'll be talking with Claire Sara, and the week after we have a very exciting, am I allowed to, that's a surprise. We'll talk about that. First it's Claire. Every conversation is amazing. And we have, Claire is the reason for the season. So, and the cool thing you'll be able to do is go to Claire's live stream Thursday next week, because Claire's doing daily live streams where she's doing channel reviews. And she's going to go directly from her live stream to our live stream, and then we're going to draw Claire for an hour. So we'd love you to join us. So we would do a long pose with Claire. It's going to be so good. Yeah, if it wasn't for Claire, they wouldn't be drawn together. If it wasn't for Claire, I would not be here on YouTube doing this probably. So thank you so much, Claire, for your encouragement and support. That's it, 10 minutes. I'm glad that your cockles are warmed, Claire. So that was, we've done 10 portrait sketches. I'm gonna go, I will flip through what I've done here. I'm gonna move. Thank you. I'll just put down the name, E.M. Lindsay. E.M. Lindsay. That one was fun. I've had a lot of fun. Has everyone else had fun? I would love to see 22 people who are watching now saying, I had fun, or I would like to win an original sketch. Thank you so much all for being here. I'll leave Zoom open a little longer than YouTube, so we can like wave and do some eye gazing perhaps. You've all just been looking at my screen and not at my face, but now I'm going to show you my sketches that I've been doing. All right, I'm just gonna. Oh, cool. I'm gonna flip through mine now, so I'll remove the reference here, and I'd love you in the chat to tell me, yeah, if you had a favorite from the ones, like it's a result that you feel really happy with, something you felt really challenged by. So here we have G Moody and E.M. Lindsay, F Steele and Kong Lee, and Ev M Benn. I may be most happy with my result of Ev M Benn. I really like this way. RK Robertson. Oh, I like this. Who was this again? May. What was the name? May Smith. And May Smith and G Mammona. This one was super challenging. I felt like this was the most challenging one. My eternal gratitude to Jane, who's my co-host and also got us onto these sketches. A. Smith, H.M. McGuinness. With A. Smith, this is where I made kind of the mistake of drawing into the wet with the water-soluble graphite, which made some super dark marks here. But that's something with a bit more time we could like compensate, balance things out, like add a bit more definition, a bit more contrast. So these could also all be the starting point for like a further exploration of each of these portraits. And I think I really enjoy the process of doing quick sketches, and there's a lot of them that I like. Keep in mind which ones you like, and tell me in the chat if you'd like to win a sketch. Maybe you will, and whichever one's your favourite, I'll send it to you wherever you are in the world. So an interesting thing about doing these quick sketches is that we go practice a lot of faces, and like there are a couple where I was like, maybe I would make some different choices if I did it again. And I think it's a really interesting process to kind of figure out, like just to have the in this case it's like, it's quantity over quality. It's like churning through these things, doing lots of sketches, and then start to notice stuff in the reference as well. Like Benn, the reference, as I was looking at the photo, was just like, oh, look at this photo. Like there was some connection to the image, to Ev's expression, and I feel like I was aware of this kind of connection as I was drawing it, and like I was feeling something, and I really liked the drawing, the result as well, and finding something, starting to be discerning in the way you choose your reference, or if you have the good fortune to have models and to take your own photos, to be like, what is it that what can I work with? What do I really enjoy sketching? And just by doing a lot of these sketches, you start to see what it is that you, what do you resonate with when you're working? What do you want to push more? What direction you want to go in? And just by practicing a lot, then you kind of open up the opportunity to experience a lot of different things, and bring things to your own attention in your own practice. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here, watching. Thank you for being active in the chat. If there are any questions, right now would be the last opportunity to ask. Lewis, it's so great seeing all of your sketches as well, Lewis. Really glad to have you along for this adventure. Cora, yeah, Ev and Benn is a good one, right? So don't let you win. I'm also happy when I've done these giveaways in the past on YouTube. People have also picked my favorites, and I'm super happy for them to leave me and go out into the world with other people who love them. It's really lovely being able to share. Roseanne, you love drawing the mugshots. Thank you, Jane, for for bringing them to my attention. And anyone who wants to check out the website where all of these images have been sourced from, it's written in the description below. You can go to check out the Underworld exhibition website and see them and learn a bit about the stories of them. Thank you, everyone. All you wonderful people saying that you loved it, and thank you for being here. Tag me on Instagram. If you're posting, I would love you to tag me, especially if you're tagging and posting in stories, because that makes it super easy for me to share to my stories. So tag at Dylan_Sara. Use the hashtags drawingwithdylan and 10-minute portrait, and follow those so you can see what everyone's been doing and be able to connect and keep doing these. So we'll continue with daily 10-minute portrait videos, either live or do some pre-recorded towards the end of the month. And be sure to join Thursdays for the Drawn Together shows. This is an ongoing thing, and we'd love you to watch, either be there live and ask questions with our guests. The format is Shannon and myself. We have our faces up. We also show our workspaces. Then we have a reference, and the person, Claire, on Thursday is going to be between us, and we'll be chatting, talking together. So it's also just great for listening to. And if you want to draw along, it's a really good opportunity to work from some beautiful reference from beautiful people. Interesting conversations and just drawing together. Super cool. So thank you everyone for being here. It's been really great, and I hope you all have have a wonderful weekend. And tell me in the live chat right now is the last chance. If you would love to win one of these sketches, then you've got to say it in the chat and maybe you win. And now I click end stream, and it takes a moment for the lag to catch up, and I'll see myself waving, and then I know I can hit end. Always a bit of a time delay. There I am waving, and now I hit end, and now it's finished. Thank you, Zoom friends.